Welcome again to our YouTube channel, Father Danny Perspective. Father Danny Perspective. Our God is sufficient for all. Our God is sufficient for all. What makes a warm conversation or what makes a good conversation go wrong? A warm conversation gets spoiled. A warm conversation go wrong. Many of us like having good and warm conversations, but we can contribute in one way or another in spoiling that conversation and making it go wrong. That's what we shall look at today. And for those who are new in our YouTube channel, please, you can subscribe, press the subscription button, like button, and also notification bell so that whenever we upload any video that you may be interested in, you may be notified and you may check it out so that we grow together, we learn together. So today we settle for conversations that go wrong. How do we normally contribute in one way or another in spoiling good conversations, in making warm conversations go wrong? We may contribute to them unknowingly. Either Holman wrote about warm conversations, mindsets when we go into conversations. And here are some of the ways in which we contribute in spoiling a good and warm conversation, that we make it go wrong. Sometimes we enter into a conversation and we find it easy, or we find it a tendency, or we find it comfortable in sometimes pointing out things that are not right, things that are wrong in situations, things that are wrong with somebody or with something. We like pointing out what is not working, or calling out things that are not okay, things that upset us, things that we don't feel right with, or things that offend us. In a conversation, we point out what's wrong, what's bad, what's not working, what offends us, what we feel is not right, what is not working. So we are called in one way to watch out to such kind of tendencies whereby we are drawn into what we call negative criticism. We are criticizing everything. We don't see anything positive. And the moment we go into a conversation, we are talking about something, our work or our point of interest is seeing the wrong things, the bad things, things that are not working, things that are not right. These kind of criticisms in a conversation contribute to that conversation going wrong. People lose interest in that conversation anymore because the only thing they see is criticizing, that is wrong, that's not right, this does not work, I don't like that one, this one upsets me. So the conversation which was warm and good is spoiled. The conversation goes wrong. This is what we call criticism, or criticizing more often in a conversation, which makes it go wrong. It is not warm anymore. It is not good anymore because we have that tendency of criticizing whenever we come into a conversation. Negative criticism. Sometimes we are called to see something positive and avoid or watch out to that kind of a tendency of criticizing. We also need to watch out to complaining. Sometimes we bring our complaints into our conversations. It is good to tell people how good our day was, how the day went, how things happened, and most of the times we talk about our problems, our issues, our struggles, our health, our conflicts, all these things. And we fail to acknowledge what went right, what was good, appreciate the day, and feel the good things. Even when you are having a conversation with your children, with your husband, with your wife, with your co-worker, with your friend, having this warm conversation after the day is gone, avoid dwelling on complaining. Avoid dwelling on things that went wrong. So we turn a conversation into a moment of complaining, into a moment of offloading the bad things of the day. We spoil a conversation which could have been warm, nice, welcoming, a moment of listening, a moment of enjoying life. Life is sweet, life is good to be enjoyed. We must always watch out against that tendency of complaining. Always, in any conversation we engage in, let us not find a moment of complaining, but find a moment also of acknowledging good things. We must not bombard our conversations with complaining always, being on the negative part, on the bad things, things that went wrong, our difficulties, and we have no moment of expressing gratitude. We ought to watch out against ever complaining in a conversation, but also find also moments of gratitude, acknowledging good things, things that went on well, things that you appreciate, things that you are enthusiastic about. We must watch out against ever complaining in conversations. In an encounter, engagement of a conversation, watch out against complaining. Sometimes also we appreciate when people come to us seeking advice, seeking counsel, seeking guidance, seeking help. You feel so nice to help somebody out of a problem. We feel good giving some counsel, giving a hand, helping somebody out. There are other moments where we have to watch out in advice giving, unsolicited advice in a conversation. Unsolicited advice in a conversation. People come to us, they share their problems with no intent at all of seeking counsel, seeking advice, telling people what they can do. You know that which is better for them, do this. Avoid always putting yourself into that position of advice giving in every conversation you are in. People can tell you their problems without seeking advice from you, without intent of seeking counsel from you. The moment we turn it into advice giving, the conversation changes. It becomes a counselor and the counselee, which is not the intent of a normal conversation. Advice giving is not part of a warm conversation. This kills the conversation because you are telling the person what is good for them instead of letting people seek for solutions. You can accompany them to seek solutions, but here you are advice giving, telling them what to do, telling them what's right for them. We must watch out against that. We have to watch out against advice giving if we intend to have a good conversation, unless that person seeks for advice, seeks for counsel, or that person comes to you seeking for help. Don't inject yourself into advice giving where it was not sought, where nobody sought for that advice. You kill a good conversation, and this person may never also have much interest of having conversations with you, because this person thinks the moment I go to that person is going to tell me what to do, what I need to correct, what I need to do right. This person is advising me, puts me down, we are not on the same level, and this kills a warm conversation. We have to watch out against advice giving in our conversations unless advice is sought, counsel is sought or somebody seeks advice from you. The other thing that we have to do also, we have to watch out for, is sometimes we make differing opinions. In society, we can never be the same. We have different opinions, we differ in our opinions, we have differences. And sometimes we must learn to have common ground. Sometimes in conversations, we may be discussing maybe something to do with religion, or something to do with politics, or something to do with an ideology, or a policy or something. It must not always be a conversation that degenerates into divisiveness or divisiveness, as people call it. That it becomes, it's like we are against people, or we are against them. It is us against them, or them against us. It is not enmity. It is a differing opinion. It is a different standpoint. It is a different understanding. The question here is, can we find a common ground where we can sustain our conversation? That we don't turn into a conflicting kind of conversation where it is a divisive or a divisive conversation where we turn into, it is our opinion against theirs, it's them against us, it's me against him, you against me, it is this ideology against this ideology. It's like all these are opinions, differing opinions, but how can we sustain this in common ground? How can we have a conversation without being so divisive, being so opposed, so antagonistic, that we can find a common ground where we can have a conversation warmly, enjoy it. I understand you have a differing opinion, I have a different opinion, and therefore we thank God that we have all these opinions that can contribute into a better society. That in conversations we must avoid divisiveness. Sometimes you enter into a conversation and from nowhere, somebody is so antagonistic that a conversation degenerates. Sorry for that. It becomes very toxic. You cannot maintain it anymore. Next time you see such a person, it's like, that person has strong standpoints, has strong opinions, and rarely accepts a differing opinion, rarely accepts a different standpoint. And this kills conversations which can develop, which can build, which can advance a society. We must learn to avoid divisiveness in our conversations. Up to that point, we have to agree that we can never be the same. We are not one. We are different. That's why we are unique. We are individuals. We are different persons, uniquely made in the image of God. That's why you have your unique DNA. I cannot expect the way you think is the way I think. You can have a different opinion, but we are all human beings, and we understand that our responsibility is to live in truth, and the way we approach it depends on how we understand it. Sometimes we look at the same thing but from different perspectives. We have to agree and understand that we are different, but we must not become so divisive in even small things. We are very antagonistic and we become toxic in our conversations. And up to that point, we shall continue with the rest of the points in the next video. And we have to watch out in order to sustain warm conversations. Watch out against such to maintain and keep a good, warm conversation. We shall continue from there number 6 onwards to number 10. God bless you.